I want to thank you up front for your attention and focus on this brief video pertaining to the culture at Zionsville Community High School, specifically as it pertains to bullying. In 2013, the state of Indiana passed a law regarding bullying prevention in schools, and this video is meant to refresh your memory and remind you of the key elements in this bullying prevention law. You see the main objective of the video. By specifically defining bullying and giving some examples, we hope to have a more common understanding of what constitutes an actual bullying case. Here's the legal definition for bullying in Indiana schools. There are a lot of words included, but it is important to look at the specific legal definition. Overt, unwanted, repeated acts, including verbal or written communications, physical acts committed, or any behaviors with the intent to harass, ridicule, humiliate, intimidate, or harm a student and creates what is referred to as an objectively hostile school environment. The conditions to be considered an objectively hostile environment include places the student in a reasonable fear of harm to them or their property, has a negative impact on their physical or their mental health, interferes with their academic performance, or interferes with the student's ability to be involved in the school. To simplify this legal definition, schools look at a three-pronged test to determine if something is classified as bullying. The first prong is whether the behavior was unwanted with the intent to harm. So was the purpose of the behavior specifically to cause harm to the other person? The second prong is whether the behavior had been repeated. So not one isolated incident, but the behavior is repeated over time. And then the third prong is whether the behavior creates an imbalance of power, where the bully has a level of control over the victim, whether that is a physical advantage or a social advantage. Once again, in order for something to be classified as bullying, all three of these prongs must be met. I do want to be clear that this is not to imply that negative behaviors that fall short of the bullying definition are okay, because clearly they are not. Many times conflict exists between students that fall short of hitting all three prongs on this bullying definition. However, the behavior is obviously unacceptable and would need to be dealt with within the school. I do think it is important for everyone to develop the common understanding of the legal definition of bullying, so we do not get caught up overusing the word to describe certain behaviors. As students, your focus is to describe the negative behaviors that you are experiencing or witnessing very specifically and allow school officials to determine if the behavior hits the threshold for bullying. Once something is determined to meet the definition for bullying, it can be classified into one of four categories. The first being physical. This is the traditional bullying example where one person has a physical advantage over another student and uses that physical advantage to intentionally harm them, and then repeats that behavior. The second category is verbal. As the category implies, this is when one student uses their words to hit all three prongs on the bullying definition by threatening or name-calling. Sometimes the verbal issues are direct, and sometimes they are indirect, in that the bully uses their words to harm the mental health of the victim by repeatedly saying things in their direction that make them feel uncomfortable and causes a significant disruption for them at school. The third category is social relational. This is where a bully uses their social status to intentionally cause harm to someone else and then repeats that behavior. And then the fourth category is electronic written communication. And this seems to be the issue that comes to us the most at school, where one student uses their social media or texting to potentially hit all three prongs on the legal definition. It is hard for the adults in the building to truly understand the context or the history of the personal relationship that exists between students and whether there is an intent to harm and whether there is an imbalance of power. The fact that there is 24-hour communication access with each other has heightened this type of bullying, as students no longer have to be in the same physical space in order to treat each other poorly. And there is clearly a level of keyboard courage when someone is putting something out on social media or texting versus having a personal encounter with someone else. A key extension of the bullying law for schools is that schools can get more involved with situations that occur off the school campus if there's proven to be a substantial disruption at the school. So negative social media interactions that trickles over to school and starts to interfere with school discipline can become a school matter. These are the official terms that are used in bullying cases, such as target and bullier. The one that I will note is the role of the witness or the bystander. These are the students that are not the bullier or the target, but see the negative behavior taking place. The bystander is the role that all of us can play to make Zionsville Community High School an even better place for all students. All of us taking the time to not accept bullying type behaviors. It is so easy for humans to avoid the drama and ignore things that are occurring right in front of them that they know are wrong. If you put yourself in the position of the target or the victim, I'm sure you would hope that those around you witnessing the behavior would do something to support you. You would want them to demonstrate courage and find a way to help. Demonstrating courage is certainly not easy, but it is the right thing to do, and it is the responsibility of the witness or the bystander. If you find yourself in this situation and want to report negative behaviors that you are experiencing or that you witness, you can do so in a couple of ways. The first is to communicate the facts to a trusted adult. Tell someone what is happening. Do not ignore or accept the behavior as normal things that happen in high school. The second way is to anonymously report through the website. You will find the Report It feature under the Students tab on both the district and the Zionsville Community High School websites. To wrap up, once again, the main objective of the video was to help all of us develop a common understanding of the bullying issue with hopes that we can all do our part to make Zionsville Community High School an even better school by improving the school culture for all students. When we all focus on supporting each other and standing up for each other as Zionsville Community High School Eagles, we will help all students have a positive and enjoyable school experience. Thank you.